I'll
Right.
just say hello. Thanks for coming to this video. This is a video with me and my friend Steve.
Hello.
Yeah, my name's Yumi. You can find my art and stuff on those two places. Steve, did you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Steve, friend of Yumi's. I'm an artist as well. I mostly draw like D&D kind of stuff over on Twitter and sometimes Instagram as well.
Yeah. Steve, did you want to talk about like our thing?
Yeah, so like I think we really always really talked about doing lots of art challenges and stuff, just to sort of keep ourselves motivated with doing art. And Yumi sort of she came and showed us this art generator that sort of comes out with little random aesthetic prompts. What was some of them, like sea punk or
There was lots of like mom and dad fashion.
yeah, and like
Yeah.
or like just a random worded core at the end.
Yeah. So we decided to come up with a list and then pick three each from our list. These are the ones that we came up with in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first three are the ones I picked. So lava or acid priest. I just couldn't decide.
Dealer's choice.
Then sewer witch, if you can read that, and then circus deity.
Yeah. I say deity. It's so really up to you. And then I picked Woodland Dad, Feminine Farmer, and Shimmercore.
Yeah. I feel like feminine farmer sounds like the weirdest one out
I
of
know
this.
it's such a I had like a really strong idea as soon as I heard it, but it does sound like the most out of place out of all of them.
It sounds like, I don't know, the least fashion to
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
So first up, we've got Lava or Acid Priest. So we because we had two, we each chose one. I've gone with Lava Priest because I had more sort of a stronger idea for that one over Lava Priest.
Oh, no, you're going for lava priest, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, over
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
uh,
excited. I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So I've gone for Lava Priest. So I will just big reveal. Da-da-da-da.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
They're-
So this one was so as soon as I heard like Lava Priest, I had like a really strong idea for it. So the second that I heard it, the first thing that came to my head was this idea of like kind of like a pope hat, like a purple hat, but it sort of like curves out like a volcano. And then when I started thinking about that, I started thinking about like, well, why not just make the entire silhouette kind of like vaguely kind of volcano shaped, so
Yeah.
like sort of like tapering up as you do it. And then I started thinking like, one of the things with my art that I think that it might be like one of my weaknesses that I really like, I really sort of shy away from high contrast. So I was like, okay, so lava, magma, you've obviously got those blacks, and then you've got that really like radiating orange, yellows, reds. So I was like, okay, Steve, like let's push ourselves and let's really try and like make this one pop a bit. And so yeah, I was really happy with this one. I used a lot of reference from I think it was like Greek Orthodox like vestments, which is just like, if you've ever looked them up, they look absolutely radical. Like the big robes, like hanging like just hanging like, I don't know, like tabards or something.
Yeah.
They look so cool.
So Greek Orthodox.
Yeah, like a lot of
vestments.
like Orthodox churches in Europe and stuff, just like they have the coolest looking like vestments.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I just started drawing it. It's just probably like one of the quickest pieces that I put together out of the challenge.
Yeah.
But because like obviously back then I figured it would just be like kind of sketches that like the kind of the work. I don't know if you found the same thing, but the workload just it increasing, like as I like I did something, I was like, oh, that's really cool, like let's use that in the next one as well, and then it just spiraled out of control into like,
Yes.
this is the one that probably like it's actually like a very rough quick sketch.
No, but it gets the idea across. Like,
Yeah.
definitely the volcano shape is so important,
Mm.
and it definitely conveys
Yeah.
that warmth and heat really easily.
Yeah, that's like that was just a lot of like I've been using a lot of like, and I think through a lot of these you'll see I've been using a lot of like just sort of layer modes. Like I've really gotten, I think I'm going through my like DeviantArt kind of like Photoshop, like, oh, you can use layer modes, like, so like flicking, like, you know, putting like a red over the top and then glow dodging that, and
Yes,
just to
yes.
get everything to pop. And then I've even used like a bit of one of the airbrushes to sort of like suggest like kind of like a bit of like heat, and I think I even blurred parts of the drawing to like kind of like get that kind of like convection across. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that one.
Oh, you should be. It looks really
yeah.
good.
The book there was originally going to be like a censer, like that sort of thing that the priests carry that sort of has smoke coming out of it. I thought that would be like a really cool, like kind of volcano-y type thing, but then I found it really difficult to draw, and I was like, no, I can't spend too much time on these drawing. What a mistake.
No, I love it. It's so
Yeah.
good. Oh, and that's so funny that you said like you're learning all these new features in Clip Studio. Like I found that with mine as well, because like this challenge in particular will push me to draw like really like things I don't normally draw.
Yeah.
And to get those effects, you have to really experiment. So yeah, I thought that was really funny that you said the same. Well, you thought the same thing.
Yeah, there's like a few like little lessons that I've discovered along the way, but yeah, I think I'll show you those as we get to it. I'm really excited to see what you did for Acid Priest. This prompt's like a bit different than the others, because you know the first one we've obviously done kind of different prompts. It's sort of the Pokemon Blue and Red of this art challenge, like, whereas the rest will be really interesting because we've done the same prompt and we can see like how we've really like changed.
Yeah.
So this is the only one that's exclusive to either Steve or Yumi.
That's so funny. Yeah, look, honestly, the reason why I put both priests as an option was I just love like Christian iconography. Well, not Christian, just like religious kind of iconography like that. And just to play with those costume element. Should we call it a costume? No.
I think they're called vestments, I think, is like that's not what I was searching for anyway, but yeah.
Okay.
Love that all that Christian all the Christian symbolism and iconography. It's very Hideko Anno is the Neon Genesis guy.
Yes.
Threw it in because it looks cool.
Yes, like very deep religious meaning. No, it just looks cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'll stop sharing it. Let's have a look at Acid Priest, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so my screen's still sharing with you?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Oh wow. That's so like it's a Warhammer.
Yes.
Like, were you like looking at like Seekaz's figurines?
Well, like it ended up that way because like I was so intent on dressing him in black. But then in the end, like white just worked better. Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely see like the white, like it's like very like you even have the little like purple hat as well. I can see we both immediately thought of purple hat.
I feel like that's the only real that's the big signifier that is related
priest,
to like a priest.
Besides, like, you've got the collar and the mantle as well.
Yes, I had to leave the collar. It's so important.
I really like it too. Is that the thing on his back? Is that like the hazard like blaring alarm that plays like when there's like a nuclear bomb, or are those megaphones or? Yeah,
they are megaphones, but like that's
is that for like is the idea that he's sort of going around and like giving his like I don't know, like sermons or something, and he's blaring it out?
Yes.
Cool. I love, there's a lot of story in this picture. I feel like I'm picking up. You haven't said anything, but like just looking at it.
Oh, I'm so glad that it comes across so, because like that was exactly what I was going for, that he's like this post-apocalyptic preacher. Yeah.
And like it's even
yeah.
like I love like you've even like done a background and you've got like the little like the ruins of like a cathedral. And I've kind of got this like story in my head now that like he's like, you know, he's occupying the ruins of this cathedral, and he's like he's the priest, and he comes out with this like big megaphones, like, you know, like repent or whatever. Like, and he's even got like is that maybe that's a sensor, like the thing where they flick water on.
Yes, that is exactly what I've drawn, but I just forgot the name as well.
Yeah,
but
I'm not sure.
I'll look it up later. I'll add it to the video.
There's like two different, maybe they're both sensors. Like I know there's handheld ones and ones that are on a chain. But they're very.
This one
very
was supposed to have a chain, but
yeah, okay, then I think they're both sensors then. Yeah. Obviously, we're very religious people.
Yes.
respect the church a lot.
It's not just for aesthetics. No.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I went this. Actually, I'll start with like my sketches I did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I should do that.
So I was really like intent. I was really intent on making like some like a really hot priest.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to keep the glasses.
Yeah.
And I think my first kind of incarnations looked more like what is it called? WoW kind of.
Oh
priest.
Yeah. You're like,
so more fantasy.
Definitely.
But then
there's even like an extra like freebie, a little lava priest in the top there.
I really tried with the lava priest, but it just couldn't work out for me. Yeah, but in the end, I just thought like the concept was pretty hollow, just to have like a nice looking priest who has like chemical powers. It's just not good enough. So that's when I started experimenting with putting on a hat. But then he just looked too much like what's his name? Alucard from Helsing.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna say Vampire Hunter D, but then I was thinking
the same thing.
Yeah,
and then and at that point I'm just like, you know, it doesn't matter if he's not good looking anymore. Like it's more important to get that concept across. So the reason why I was really inspired by this podcast I heard long ago about what is it, nuclear semiotics, where people are trying to develop symbolism and
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, to deter people 100 years, 1,000 years into the future of not going to like nuclear zones. And one of the, like, besides graphic designs, one of the methods they came up with was like making this fake religion around like it was called the atomic priesthood, where they're like trying to ward people away from those zones just because they're like sacred religious sites. Yeah, so I just thought I'd go with that idea.
There's like that really like there's like a line that they use, like I think it's translated into like a couple languages or something that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the one, it's like, this is not a place of like to be revered. This is something like that, where it's like, this was not sacred. I think there's like opposite of I'm not sure about the atomic priesthood, but this one was like, it's like there's nothing of value here. Like it was as detested in our time as it will be in yours, that sort of thing. Like it's very like hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I think like lots of different methods were suggested. Like this one was rejected because they thought it was very unethical to like just lie to people. But but it's always stuck in my head that you know, fake religions.
Like this is like sort of like an alternate universe where they went with that, and it kind of unfortunately made them obsessed with it. That's stuff. I kind of like looking at like your little sketches, like your concepts, and like how like I can see it grow, and like you've like, you know, by the second last one you've almost got it, and then you sort of just like, well, what about like a megaphone backpack? And
I just thought it will make his silhouette a bit more interesting as well. Not that a Pope hat is not interesting enough, but I don't know, that sense of like being a traveler, I really liked that. Anyway, did you want to go to the next one? So the next one is What was it again? It was Sewer Witch.
Sewer Witch.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just grab up my screen. See paint.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, Sewer Witch is a fun one. Like, I had a couple ideas in my head, like when I went for it. So without further ado, this is probably my favorite piece so far.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is probably this is my favorite piece out of all of them, I think. So I'm really excited about this one. All right. And Sewer Witch, like,
oh,
I really,
so cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. And this one was sort of there's so many things to say about this one. I had sort of like it was the beginning of the end for me, because this is the first one I was like, it's like I really want to have a background for this one to really like kind of like sell the entire, like, to make it more clear that it's sort of like a sewer witch. So this one I've got, I guess, like, I was really I actually did the background first, trying to draw this like I was like, I'd just be really simple, just sort of like a radiating, like kind of like rusty pipe, with like some like green water at the bottom. And I was hoping to do more with like sort of refracting light and stuff, and then I was just getting a bit obsessed with the background a bit more than the character. But then I've drawn this character, and like my first thing was like I had this strong idea that I thought I was going to do like a sewer witch, and I've been sort of playing Left 4 Dead recently, and my first thought was that like I would like it would be like a very similar sort of to the witch from Left 4 Dead, like kind of like
yes.
like a very kind of thin, like kind of long claws, like a witch more in the sense of like a hag or some sort of monster rather than like a kind of cutesy witch like we would normally do. And sort of I went through like a few different I sort of sketched that a little bit. Unfortunately, I sort of don't do those really cool like iterative concept sketches.
Did you keep them at least? Or?
No, I did actually have like I use the Clip Studio Pro record feature. So there's actually like a really nice video that I can show you later where that shows like a sped up version of me drawing everything. But so eventually I started thinking like I had started having this other concept where it's like, oh, like what about like sort of a witch who more kind of like delves into like a sewer, like she's like doesn't live in the sewer necessarily, but maybe like there's some like rare agents or something that she goes into, so she sort of like goes down into the sewers, wanders around, like finds like I don't know some mushrooms or something that only grow there, right? And then so I had that idea, and then that sort of sent me down this line where I was thinking about like, oh, like I really liked Made in Abyss. So I really like that. So like you can kind of like you see there, like I've gone for like a really simple kind of like stylized face, and the sort of like I wanted to have like her wearing like these like rubber waders and and stuff like that, which I think if I was going to do more time, I would have like really like looked up more like kind of like how rubber is affected by light, and so in the end I don't really think it like sells rubber as much. So that's like probably like a weakness. But yeah, like I really enjoyed like her little cape, and like her gas mask was like a detail that just sort of came out of nowhere as I was thinking like, oh, it must smell like a gas mask, like maybe would help with that in some way perhaps. I originally I did have like a sketch where she had like a peg over her nose as well. Like the gas mask
a peg, oh my goodness.
Yeah, like I felt like there was a lot like there's just a lot like where her chest is, there was just sort of like I needed something there to kind of like fill that void. Yeah, and then like the colors are really fun to like pick, and the hardest decision was like what I was going to do to like how did you make this, like you've got the sewer, but how do you make this the witch, like and originally I had like the conical hat, and like it was sort of like bent at the top because it was always pushing against the top of like the pipe. And then I thought like, oh, like then I started thinking about more like kind of like almost like a, you know, like a fisherman's hat or something, like the idea that the brim sort of like would like it sort of like slopes down slightly, so like the water would just drip straight off.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking about concept design like that, and just some other like cute things like I've got little rats, her little rat familiars.
I love the rat that's hanging off her bag.
That one. Yeah, that one's like a bit sad. He's like he's actually I think he's dead. I was like, I drew that rat first, and I was like, oh, I don't like drawing dead rats that much. But I kept that one there, so like in my head, like there's like a little narrative that like he's like died maybe, and she's gonna revive him later. So and then her staff is actually it's like a kind of like almost like a crowbar that they use to like open manholes. So like that's like a little detail I found as well.
Oh, that's so clever.
Yeah.
So that is an invention already, but you adapted it to a staff.
So like it actually looks pretty much like exactly what she's holding. Like
that's
the little
clever.
hook thing goes underneath the hole and they pull it up.
Oh, I think, Steve, like I like when you were talking about the rendering before about how the gloves don't look like leather. I mean, sorry, rubber.
Yeah.
No, I really like this simple style of rendering. It really, I don't know, it reminds me of like Disgaea, especially with like the big what was it? The proportions of like how big the pants are compared to like her tiny like upper body. I really like that.
Yeah, that was like the sort of the weight is like I really wanted to have like kind of this like I guess like heavy, like the lower body would be like very like heavy in terms of proportion, like but yeah, like Disgaea is actually like a really good like it's actually like a really good like comparison.
Oh, it's so cute. Like I can totally see her like as a character in a show, like not the main character, but like
just like a cool like side character they did when they're in the sewers, like helps them out for an episode or two, and then
So oh man, this one's really great. And I really actually like the rendering of your background, especially all the unexpected colors or the pinks and the pale blues. Yeah,
like again, that's something like the kind of like the rust bits there, like that's actually like I think just some like I think it's just a few layer modes or something that then like have kind of like I think it might be like subtract or something, which gives it that, and then it just like had a really nice kind of like rusty looking effect. And then I think the
pointillism brush. I know it.
I do like that.
I only discovered it during these challenges.
I've discovered a lot of good brushes here. But I think like water is something I really want to like work on, because like I love water in drawings, and like the way like especially there's something about drawing water and like something going beneath the surface of water, and like how the light kind of like you lose that, you can sort of just see it for a little bit and then it disappears. Like if I can just master that, I'll be a very happy artist. And like drawing little ripples and stuff, and so this is like really, I really like this piece.
It is really good.
I'm very excited to see what your
I feel like
is, because the font that you chose tells me that it's gonna be something good. Like
no. On the converse, like I feel like my Saw Witch is like my weakest piece compared to like how you thought your one was the strongest.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I'll stop
do you
sharing.
have to? Yeah.
Here we go.
I'll share mine. I don't know. I feel like maybe the font just hyped you up too much.
That font would seem like what my original concept like would match, like the original concept I had for like more of like a monster or something.
Yeah, when you were talking about like the Left 4 Dead witch, like I'm like, oh, that's mine. But anyway, I'll show you mine. 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I was deciding like it has to be a male witch because that's just a subversion.
yeah.
So pretty much just the Left 4 Dead witch, but like a dude.
No, that's actually that's really cool. I'm really loving like the rats, like the rats around, and like the little like in the background, especially with like, the little eyes and stuff. That's such like a nice little detail. Like
without that, like all the little red lights in the backgrounds, like the picture's like super dead in comparison. But it was really funny because this one originally had the rats having green eyes, but then when I finished the first one, the priest, I'm like, oh my god, they have the same color scheme. Now I have to change it.
That's like the red actually works like with the lights red as well above him. They're always red. it really comes together, like adding like the red and then the red from the rats as well, because I feel like if the eyes of the rats were green, it would sort of like, I don't know, it'd draw a lot of more attention to the eyes of the rats, whereas like here they're really just like selling the piece, like they're helping the piece rather than contrasting.
If the lights were green, I don't think that would work either.
Yeah, definitely like the reds, definitely. It's like there's a lot of like sense, a lot of like danger and stuff in this piece, and I really like the kind of like the rags that they're wearing, that and like their bodies like really like emaciated and
so like the traditional like really scary but still like kind of hauntingly beautiful.
It's like
that you want to go close and find out what they are, but
I can imagine this, like, you know, if you're down in the sewer or something like that, I can imagine you could definitely like gotta hear this a long time before you ever see them.
Yes.
Maybe even like from a distance they might even like appear to be like I don't know, like maybe they've got some kind of being like almost siren like.
Yes, something like an urban legend, like I was going for something like that, like something that you might see in real life.
That's definitely like what I was thinking, like in like my original like sketches for this, which was like, but this one seems like this would be like kind of like a intelligent, at least in some way like an intelligent creature, whereas I was thinking like pure like beast, like
I see.
As soon like it would like you'd hear it certainly, but then like as soon as it sees you, it would be like, you know, it would walk on all fours essentially. It was what I was going for. Like almost like a feral, essentially just be like a feral person. But this is so good. I really like the lights as well. Like certainly like the lights really draw the eye up the drawing.
I think like this one, when I put all the drawings like together side by side, this one's like really the odd one out because of the shape of the background. But maybe I'll fix that up. I'm not really sure. But I think that shape is important to convey the distance.
The backgrounds have been so good so far.
When you said that you were doing backgrounds, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how good he's gonna make him. And I'm like, gotta step it up, Yumi.
Like it's interesting as well. You're talking about like not only the composition of the piece itself, but as like obviously all of our drawings are in the same canvas, like how they look together. Like I think it only took me like a couple of drawings before I was also sort of like, I want to make sure every piece is sort of distinct from each other, and I started like picking like a kind of like a strong main color for each one, which I think we'll see as we get towards the end. Oh gosh, what's up next? Up next is probably like the circus deity.
You didn't like this one?
I've never been a fan of the circus, if I'm going to be honest. I've just honestly like circus, the circus aesthetic, like, you know, all the patterns and stripes and stuff. Some people love it, but for myself, like I've never been a big fan of the circus. The only like circus related, like aesthetic I've ever liked was Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, and like,
but his is very loose.
His is like pretty vague. It's like clown adjacent. But I was excited to see, like, because this was the hardest one for me, not only because like I'm not a huge fan of the circus, but also trying to like, it's such like it's so different, like how would one, like, how are we gonna like bridge the gap between circus and like a god, like so I'm gonna share my screen and I will show you how my circus deity came out, which
even between like your first and second one, they're so different. It's so interesting.
All right, circus deity.
Okay.
So this is circus deity.
She's pretty.
So like, I think
Oh.
it's just like, I thought like when I think of gods, I often think like them as being like kind of androgynous, like especially this circus deity where like I feel like the circus is really like neither like male nor female, like anything, like so this kind of character I felt was just would just be kind of, I don't know, like I thought, you know, I started basically with some poses, trying to find like a good solid, really like interesting kind of like circus pose. Then I came across these pictures of like people in like rings and stuff hanging.
Yeah.
And like, so I was like, oh, that would be neat. Like, so I really like this sort of pose. And then from there, it sort of turned into this, this kind of like androgynous, like kind of like Joker, God, I guess like I kind of feels to me like I was like in a way sort of like dreamlike. Like I think the deity part was the hardest part to sell, but I guess like they kind of like tried to sell it. They sort of look a bit
no,
unnatural.
they have like the two halves of like good and bad, and I think like that's definitely conveyed, and that's a really like popular way to show that something is like a deity. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, and then so like but the only thing is like, so like we're talking about discovering different brushes and stuff.
Yeah.
I like found like some. I feel like I like religiously check the Clip Studio assets page every day, and I found like some like pencil brushes, but like the little like artifacts, like like it really dirtied up the drawing quite a bit. And with some brushes, you know how you can go to object and like change like what. Like you can change, if you're using a vector layer, you can change every line into a different brush.
Yes. But you can't do that with
no, because
pencils?
like all these little artifacts somehow count as a like brush or something. So like when I change it, it just like any other brush just makes it like giant blotches all over the drawing. So I thought about just redoing the line art, because it's already pretty quick. It was pretty quick. Like the line work was done pretty quickly, but in the end I was like gotta move on. And this is the only one I really didn't do a background for, which I think when you see all of them together like makes this one the weakest piece. And I think I would agree, this is probably the piece that I'm the least happy with. Like I would probably like go back if I had more time. I probably would have gone back and like redrawn it, because like this hand is like really like it's really sending me.
No, it's all right. I think like that's the biggest challenge about this activity that we're doing, because like we need each one to look distinct. We need each one to distinct but then fit. And that's a really like it's a consideration that we don't really have to think about for creating one-off artworks, you know. And I
think if I was like going to do it again, I think I'd really like to sell kind of like this ring, like I was like trying to make them very angular, and very like thin and angular, like lots of like curve, and then like definitely curves, but then like a lot of like points, so you can sort of like quite thin. I think I would have really liked to like maybe make this spine a bit like more rounder here, so it runs along the ring a bit better. And my only other point I think is the hair, man. I just long hair for me, like cut me off a slice of what you got, Yumi, because like you're like I don't understand like drawing long hair for me is a nightmare. Like I honestly like most of this is done with like a brush and then like adding lines afterwards, but it's just so difficult to like follow the strands and make it like the volume of hair. So this was like something I sort of pushed myself to try and do, like a really long hair, kind of like cascading down, affected by gravity. So but I do like how the hair came out, and it fills up like the kind of the strange aspect ratio that I've got.
I really wonder why did you pick this kind of tarot card kind of dimension to your work?
I'd love to say that it was an aesthetic choice, like an artist's choice. But really what happened was, when I opened up a new canvas, I used the Clip Studio Paint like preset like comic panels, and there's just a 3 across one, and then I just doubled it, and I think honestly I probably should have made them more squares, but yeah, I always like working within like an actual like, I don't know, because like I used to like do a lot of comics and stuff, so I like working within just like a hard square, rather than like sort of just painting onto a canvas, and then that's sort of like the border, like where the background is. So like I do like it. So unfortunately, like I mean, I guess they could almost like be like tarot card is a nice way to put it. Like this one would probably be the most at home on a tarot card, I think.
I think like I think well the tattoos they really remind me of like what is it, Shin Megami Tensei?
Yeah, actually,
Not
that's
that
like,
I've ever played that, but
I've not even played
yeah.
Persona, but yeah, I think that's actually like I'm sure that I was probably channeling that kind of like Shin Megami Tensei like Persona kind of certainly like I'm sure there's probably like actually now that I think about it, there's probably definitely is a character like one of the what are they, demons? What are they called?
No idea.
I can't remember what they're called, but like Persona or whatever, there's probably like one that looks like more or less exactly like this.
Yeah.
So that's actually a pretty, once again, you've nailed it with the comparison.
I think like if you ever want to like go over the hair, like just be daring with putting like not solid black, but like dark gray shading in the hair.
Mm.
And I like a big block shape.
Oh
even.
yeah.
Not individual strands, because I don't think that'll match the picture, but like think like Gurren Lagann shading.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
like
I think that'll be really interesting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. All right. And I'll stop sharing and we'll get to see your take.
Yeah.
Where am I? Stop share.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with mine. But this was the one where this was at the point where you said, oh, let's put backgrounds on. I was like, oh shit. So like doing that was really fun, but at the beginning it was really challenging to put a background onto a piece that I'd already like cell shaded. This one's Seacast's favorite also. So 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, that's good. Oh yeah. Now that's a circus deity, all right. Yeah.
No, your one's like no, they're both different, you know.
No, but that's like this is yeah, this is like you really sold like the deity part as well.
Yeah, I think the part that really that I really needed to keep was the juggling of the planets. Yeah.
Oh yeah, was that like your initial, like one of the first like designs you had, and you just...
Let's see. I have like for the witch I didn't have any like sketches because I just went with my first idea. But Circus Deity was one that I did have lots of ideas for, but I just couldn't get right. So I really thought about doing like an Elizabethan kind of inspired clown lady. And then Seacast suggests, but I really wanted to do that juggling of the planets, but I just felt like it didn't mesh very well.
Yeah.
And then Seacast, what was it, suggested the kind of Wheel of Fire. So maybe that could be something you can take into your one. I
really like the first one, like the dress sort of being like the circus tent. Like that's, I mean, you obviously moved that up with the cape later on.
Yeah, but again, like what you said about you know, deities and gods being neither gender, I just felt like that was too feminine.
Yeah.
But like if for like a Lolita concept, maybe I should take
cute,
that.
Yeah.
And then
it's cool that we both settled on kind of having like that mask, the kind of like and you even like the split down the middle, like I guess like it's probably like a clown thing, like where you've got like the two, like it's like kind of like right down the middle, like not necessarily black or white, but like two colors. And I really like all like the tassels and like the stripiness and the big ruffle collar. That's
that one had to stay.
That's such like that's good.
I'll put the normal picture back on, but yeah, I saw the old kind of clown costume and I thought, oh, that'll be really good to represent duality. And one thing I really wanted to make sure of was still keeping kind of like a handmade kind of element to it. So that's why I kept the stitching on the moons and the stars. Even though like that's not really, it doesn't make sense for a god to wear like handmade things, but I just thought it was like a really reminds me of like how like circus people had to make their own costumes. And yeah, that's it.
Good.
CKS came up with the what is it? I don't know, the whole being as the tent itself, and yeah.
Oh yeah. But I can imagine like if in like maybe more of like a, you know, if this was kind of like a movie or something, like some sort of like, I don't know, Tim Burton movie or something. I can imagine this kind of like introducing the beginning of the movie, and then he's like, and then come in, and like, you know, his cloak opens up, and then like it like the whole like, you know, it zooms in, and then like the movie would start showing you like the you know, the circus performance, like kind of like he's like the stage curtains almost himself, you know, like it'd be a really fun scene transition or something. Like,
yeah, because I was thinking of not even having the body, but
oh,
that
yeah.
didn't look too, I don't know, lazy to me. So yeah, but that kind of a thing could definitely work,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Alrighty, intermission over. So we just finished the first three, and those were your picks for the prompts.
Yes.
And now we're on to my picks, which
yes.
I feel like you could sort of feel the hard line between yours and mine. So the first one up, it's Woodland Dad, which I love the little font that you did, adding like the little deer antlers and mushrooms and stuff, which is so like I felt like this prompt was going to be like one of my strongest ideas I had for it. Actually, it's the center one here. So you can see my screen. Everything's good.
I can see it.
All right, Woodland Dad. So this is Woodland. This is Woodland Dad. I think I got really carried away with this one with the background more than because I started doing backgrounds and I started having fun with backgrounds. So with this one, like I did the Feminine Farmer before this one, which has a much more it has the biggest like background of all of them. But this one I was like, I really want to get that woodland feeling to it and create more of a scene. So yeah, I started like, but I had a lot of difficulties coming up with like a good pose for this one, like even though I had like it's like I had the mood of the drawing in my head from the instant I heard the prompt, but like actually how it would come out, I wasn't sure. Like I originally didn't have any intention of having like a child in the drawing as well, but I thought that was just a cute little detail I had in the background. But obviously like lots of mushrooms, big long trees, like dense woodland. It was originally like more color wise, it was going to be like very like lush greens, sort of mixing with like yellows and blues. I was going to like make it seem like it was like a very shaded wood, but it was really getting away from me. So in the end, I instead basically used like almost essentially a single color and then a lot of layer modes to basically make it like very autumnal. Which I think like some of the reds like converted really nicely and like but like in terms of character design, like originally I saw him as more of like kind of like a hiker dad, like, or like, and then I sort of tried a few things where he was more like kind of like an early 1900s like kind of like I guess hunter or something, and he had the kid in like a kind of like a basket or like a swaddled on his and then like had like in the other hand he had like kind of like a rifle, and he's sort of walking through the woods and stuff. And originally the background was had much more, it was sort of diagonal, and he was sort of like hiking up or sort of resting, and it was like I like that. But in the end, like I just went for like kind of sitting, having like a cup of tea, and not watching his child who's definitely about to eat a mushroom and die.
I think like your strange like aspect ratio really works well for this picture in particular.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful. And so like you don't need like so much detail to convey like what it is in the picture. And I really like just the simple like lines for the trees in the background that are getting more detailed and more clear as they come to the foreground. Very beautiful, Steve.
Thank you.
And the story. I do like this one, like but I feel like in terms of like character design,
I think like probably just use some more details. Like I really wanted to like do more like, but this was towards the end when we were like really rushing to finish.
Yes.
The ribbing, like I really wanted to have like kind of that like the ribbing of like a thick wool sweater and socks as well. And there was one more thing. Oh yeah, this is like these last three. I actually like sort of pre-decided on like a couple of palettes that I wanted to sort of force myself to use, because like when I pick colors I tend to like stick within a very comfortable range. So like I really like, I was like, so but the colors that I had looked really good together, but then when it came time to like sort of give him an outfit, like it was actually really hard because they were like
because they had to still align with your color scheme.
Yeah, well, like I ended up changing the color scheme when I made this whole very yellow colors. But like originally, like I think he had it was like a very bright yellow like sweater, and like the pants were green, and it just wasn't really matching. So I ended up having to like, know when to quit in terms of like to switch out the color scheme there. For the others though, the color scheme worked out pretty okay.
Oh no, I think this one's so successful. Can definitely see it like either as like a newspaper illustration or like on a book cover.
Yeah.
Very sweet and simple.
Yeah.
Like you don't need a whole lot of details to convey a lot of ideas. Yeah. Very sweet.
Thank you. And I will stop sharing so we can see your take.
Okay.
I think you were saying that this is one you struggled with a lot.
Oh, I struggled because like I really wanted to make sure that it was either an Asian dad, because like when people assume like dad core, dad fashion, it's like a very Western take. But then I didn't really research much into that, so I just ended up drawing my own dad. Again, like you said before, hang on, okay, 3, 2, 1.
Oh
yeah. So it's just my dad. Yeah,
Dad's got style.
It's kind of like a nearly elevated form of my dad. Like the only thing that's like isn't so he always wears these like red cotton pants, and he does that. Well, they're elasticized at the bottom, but he also tucks them into his socks as well.
Your dad's got some Tintin shoes. I'm just saying.
No, it doesn't look this coordinated in real life. It's a filter. But yeah, like the only kind of like fashion elements I put in was the white dots on the pants to make it more mushroom. But everything else is just what my dad wears.
I can see the stylish beige New Balances.
I had to put the New Balances in.
They're good shoes.
Yeah. So like you mentioned before, this was one I don't know why we both left Woodland Dad till the end. Because like when I think about it, like I feel like that's the easiest one to come up with imagery for, but to do it in a non-conventional way is really challenging. But this one only took me like 1.5 hours because I was 1, rushing, and 2, like I don't know, didn't have to be too imaginative with it.
I feel like it's always fun to like kind of like draw, like I feel like drawing like a woodland scene's like very like, like you look at like anything like through art, like drawing like the woods is like always such like it should be such an easy thing to like draw and pull from. Like the colors are like, I think very naturally very aesthetic. Human beings just sort of like they love their woodland scenes. But like the color choice you've got here, I really like that. Even the ground has like a lot of really good texture to it. Like,
yes, that pointillism
is that the pointillism brush I see?
Yes.
I really like this one. Like and also you've got something in the drawing that is something I was looking at like getting into if I had some more time. Was I really wanted to, and I've seen it on like some Twitter art, is that really nice kind of like scattered light from the tree canopy coming down, and like
that was just like I don't know, I don't understand light at all, so like just looking at references magic. But like just put it in somewhere. If it looks random, it should look natural.
Like I think you honestly, like if you like got like the white pointillism brush and then like new layer and add glow. And then here I am, the new me. Everything's all about that, about the layer modes. You could probably do that really easily, or alternatively, you could, instead of doing that, you could put over like a dark layer and then like work negatively, and like,
oh yeah,
and that way you're doing more of just like where the shadows aren't.
Yeah, let me just have a look if I did actually.
Yeah, I can see that add glow.
Yes. So
that's so cute. Like the sketch is great.
Normally, like I do the line art separately, but then I decided to like just color on top because I just didn't have much time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that what is it? Like, that overlay of that darker color to bring everything together.
Have you ever done like a thing where you like try and paint like on one layer as sort of like a challenge?
Yes, but just I think that's what happened with the background.
But background looks great. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I know that it's a bad practice for me to paint on one layer. Like for when I'm working on a larger piece in particular, it's such a bad practice for me.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm sort of like I used to only use 1 or 2 layers, and and nowadays I'm like I finish up with like 30 layers per drawing.
I don't know, like out of the 2 options, like what is really the best practice? But
I think there's something to be said for like trying to paint like as an exercise, trying to just paint on one layer. I think I'm because the way I started drawing was like, it's always been this sort of like this process where you're like going back to like when I started learning when I was like 12. And I was like just like DeviantArt tutorials, and it was always just like you draw a sketch, then you put the line art down, then you put the base colors on, then the shadows, then the highlights. Like it's that kind of like multi-stage. Whereas like I think a lot of the really good like artists that I see, like I see a lot of like they'll paint like directly over the top of the line art. Maybe they're still using different layers and stuff, but like I think,
but not in the same kind of structured way.
Yeah, I'm very much like, the line art's always on the very top. Which is like, I think something I need to like break away from, to like, because otherwise you've always got this very kind of flat you end up with very flat like line art, because it's always just sitting on top, rather than sometimes like blending into the background, or like lines, like when lines are colored and they can kind of like, they're there but they're not as visible because they're less they're sort of like the color is more closer to what the base is. Or
I mean, I did buy into that for a while, but then I started to really hate it because like it still didn't look natural. It still looked flat. But I don't know, coloring is just another frontier for me. But like exercises like these, I feel really
I think we're both very much line work people. Like draftsmen. Is that maybe the way of putting it? Like I feel like my strongest point, and I think from looking at your work, I think our strongest point would be like when we sketch and then put down lines, and then from there, I think from there, maybe you share this with me, where it's sort of like, it's time for color.
Oh no.
And then you see some people who are like the opposite. They can color like nobody's business, but like their line work is like, it's not bad, it's just like, it's obviously like, it's not, compared to color, it's not their strength, so like they're more painterly, and then I feel like we're more illustrators.
I feel like maybe we're this way because of the way that we got, that we learned, like you have to get that line art right. You have to get the line art right, and then like once you get that right, then you can focus on the color. But we've been focusing so much on the line art that we haven't got to the color yet.
I guess it's like I guess it's kind of a different approach. Like I guess it's the painterly approach. It's kind of like how you would almost do like an oil painting in real life. You have a sketch, but then like you paint over the top. And maybe I've seen some people like they'll do that. They've got the sketch, they paint, and then they paint down all the flats and shading and stuff, and then the line art comes back on that they'll paint it. So like I guess there's so many different ways to work, which is nice, but we'll find our way.
Anyway, did you want to go to your next one?
Absolutely. Let me just.
It's Feminine Farmer.
As we said at the beginning, it's like very much like kind of the odd one out in terms of this one. It doesn't, I guess it definitely, like for me, I had like as soon as I heard it, I was like, I want to do that one because I can just see this whole drawing, and more or less it just came out very quickly, and I'm like very happy with it.
That's good.
I will share my screen and move across which is my fourth one. All right, so here we go. Feminine farmer.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love your style.
Thank you.
How do you do your line art?
My line art?
Brush?
I pretty much use I use like a different brush almost every time. But
this one in particular, like it's kind of like transparent, but
yeah,
kind
so
of opaque.
this is a little trick that I learned like just hanging out with other artists on Twitter and stuff. I've seen like some few like tutorials for how to get this like kind of like I guess like shortcuts. Like so you often see like I think it's really popular these days, like since like the sort of like Tumblr art thing is you get these really nice drawings with like they have like colored line art, but then they're colored specifically based on what's around them. So like, you know, like in this case, like this, like the green bow, like it's kind of a bit green to it. And then like you can see there's a bit of the where the skin is, it's more brown and so on and so forth. So like for me, like I don't actually go and like hand color like each line. In particular, this brush here is like actually already kind of semi-transparent anyway. So what it is I basically, after I finished the drawing, which was more or less a black or a dark gray, I use the Clip Studio Paint feature to convert the whole line art into a light gray, and then I changed that to that layer mode to I think it's linear burn, and that sort of changes it. So like basically whatever colors around it sort of takes on that hue.
Yes.
And then and that
but
actually,
that's after you put the colors on under it.
Yeah, so that's it's like one of the last things that I do, and I was just experimenting with like, oh, should I just make this all like one color, like, because you know it's always nice when you got like so if you back to the Woodland Dad, like that's more of like I've just used like kind of a green color for the liner. Oops, my paint's dying. Whereas here, like I really like this one, like particularly because like I had a strong feeling like this would be like a really sunny outdoor scene. And so yeah, like this one was just a lot of like trying to get that kind of overblown brightness in the background.
Yes.
Got some added glow kind of shading. But yeah, basically as soon as I heard this, I was like, oh, I just had this like really strong image of kind of like a harvest moon, like kind of like I don't know, like either protagonist or marriable bachelorette. And then I guess like just deciding like, oh, what kind of how do I kind of sell this the character who's like, you know, like feminine but also like working this very like manual like job. And I sort of just imagined like kind of a gardener. So the biggest choice I had to make was I was so torn. I really wanted like overalls, but then I also really wanted that kind of long dress, like looking at old pictures of like, you know, farmers in the like 1800s and stuff. They'd actually wear big long kind of like, I don't know, frocks or dresses, even though they're out in the fields. And so in the end I compromised by sort of like having kind of like a denim apron. And this is another one where this is the first one I used, where I used these pre-made palettes, sort of like and there were like two different blues, like so sort of the denim apron, and then she's kind of wearing like a denim shirt as well, and then the pink of the dress, and then the green, which I've used in like sort of like the hat ribbon and the ribbon around her waist.
Yeah, but also in your background as well. Yeah. So it all ties together. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, and then like, yeah, I was really happy with this one as well. I particularly really like the wicker basket, which is just like a detail. I threw it in the last detail, but like I felt like it came out like really nicely and like sells really well. I wanted to have some like, I don't know, like some radishes or something, also some stalks coming out of it. But the time sort of like slipped away from me there. But yeah, the background, this is the first one I really went hog wild doing the background. I wonder if I work on so many layers. I'm hoping I can, maybe I've got the background as a separate. Actually, maybe if I do all these. No, I work on too many layers to turn off the background quickly. But yeah, I actually had a picture, like maybe we can throw it up in editing. I had a picture I posted separately onto my art page that shows the background more visibly.
Ah.
But yeah, so I was really happy with the background, and that's when the next one started, and I was like, all right, it's background time.
When I
Yeah.
saw your basket, I was just like, those are the lines that I've always tried to like get in my drawings. How do you get those? But
Yeah.
yeah, the
I just-
basket's very nice.
It's like, it's so funny, like more or less almost like random in terms of like their placement. It's just that sort of like I guess like impression of like the wicker being there.
But it's
yeah.
so loose, but like there's just enough information to show like this is where the shadow is, and this is where it's all bunching up. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, I think the one detail I really liked in the end was that the hat is sort of like tied down by the sort of scarf or ribbon over the top, which I really liked. Just because like initially the green of the palette wasn't being used very much except for this ribbon around her waist, and then that pulled out, and I think that really like pulled it together really nicely. And then you can see the punch-lism brush just like cut out of the dirt and stuff in there on the gloves as well.
Yeah.
And then, or a tree made entirely of punch-lism brush.
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
that tree is lovely.
Yeah,
oh no, I
that's
love
a
it
nice-
because like it's feminine because it's got the pastels as well, and yeah, I can definitely like maybe someone like I could definitely see like someone wearing this. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy with this one. I'm excited to see what you've got in store.
Oh, my one's really different.
Let me just...
I went with like farmer and like just not as a practical thing, more like a what is it? Just aesthetic cues, like this means farmer, but I'll try to justify like why I've gone this route.
Yeah.
Anyway, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So, actually, tell me what you think. Like, what do you think my influences were?
So looking at it, like, I'm trying to make sure I got the links. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I can see it's kind of like a outfit that's inspired by farming, like, rather than like someone who like, I guess like, mine was like as someone who actually farms.
Yes.
Yours is like, I guess yours is like an outfit that's like themed around farming.
Yes.
It's like kind of as like a distinction. But yeah, I think this seems almost like, I mean, like you've got so much like Lolita style and stuff, but it's like very like French kind of.
Yes.
It's like French countryside, like what is it, like the 1600s?
I don't know anything about dates, but you've got it. I went for kind of the Marie Antoinette theme.
I was gonna say Marie Antoinette, but I was like, I don't want to just like immediately see like frills and be like, that's Marie Antoinette. Like...
No. I'm glad that came across. Yeah.
Well, I guess she famously sort of had the kind of little cottage where she pretended to be like a milkmaid or something.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going for. Kind of like a modern age version of like what Marie Antoinette would wear if she went to her little cottage.
Yeah.
Like nowadays.
Wow.
So I was really like inspired by that strawberry dress on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, by I'll just say it, by Lyrica Matoshi. Because like I think that's what, well, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't really know much about cottagecore, but I think like that really sparked.
I think so too. Like I certainly like, I think cottagecore is really like taken off as kind of like an aesthetic lately. Like it's very like it's very, I guess, in vogue at the moment.
Yeah,
like it's a much more of a subculture than Maury ever was.
Yeah, I think like I don't know much about cottagecore, but I feel like that's like a fantasy country life as opposed to like, what would you wear practically in the country?
Definitely.
So,
for cottagecore seems to be more about like the aesthetic, and like you would definitely be more like the person who's wearing cottagecore probably imagines themselves being in a cabin, not so much like going out and chopping wood and
maybe collecting eggs, but like not actually tilling the fields and so I went with that kind of like a feeling. Really wanted to, well, because like when I saw her dresses, I thought they were so like, this is like feminine like fashion to the T, and really not apologetic about like being really gaudy and
Yeah.
frilly and frivolous, and I just thought it could be the right kind of style for this
Yeah.
picture. But yeah, like the things that point to it being farmer is the gingham, the daisies,
The basket hat,
and
bonnet.
yes,
I
the
think.
basket bonnet, and also her gross little cowboy shoes. Yeah, I had to hide most of it to make it work. But yeah, that's kind of what I went with.
I have to
Yeah.
say, like, the background is incredible. Like,
Oh, I spent
you
too much
that
time on
the,
it.
like that watercolor, like the watercolor aspect of like the water, like with like the whites kind of like bleeding in, and like it just looks so like it looks very what's it like, not like just very like rural kind of like, I don't know, that pond water is like looks so beautiful. Like,
oh, don't worry, all references.
oh.
But yeah, I just learning more or practicing more skills by doing these drawings.
And her hair's really nice too. Like, I love the the drills. Like,
yes.
Will she cover her mouth and go, oh?
And you got to have that dot under the eye
Of
as
course,
well.
of course,
Yeah, got to have the beauty spot. But yeah, I don't know. I liked the picture. But then
the entire composition is really nice. Like, I really like the you've got like the building towards like on the right hand side there, like sort of like pulling it almost like diagonally, like it's like it's really nice. And then you've got like the sort of the negative space on the left.
I think like after I drew, like, this was what is it, like, her as a picture works by herself, but because she's so imbalanced, I'm like, I can't just chuck her in a rectangle frame, it'll look stupid, so I have to do something kind of irregular. But yeah, that's my one.
That's beautiful. That's a really good one.
Oh, thank you. I really wanted to make, well, what is it, out of all the prompts that we had, like when I looked at my three, I thought like these are like these are for like character design. But then when I saw your three, I'm like, oh, these are fashion. Like, I should interpret these as like what someone could wear as opposed to like a cosplay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like I don't know, like when we were like deciding on like when we had these like aesthetic prompts, like I feel like I was just like designing drawings rather than like instead of like, I think it was like it slipped away from me that it was like a character design, a fashion, or anything like that. I just started drawing a picture based on like the prompt, which is like in particular that the biggest one of that would be like Woodland Dad, where it was like that's clearly more of like a scene than a design. But
it's just interesting how we can even just interpret the prompts itself.
Definitely, like, there's been some like it's really fun to see like what's similar and what's different.
Yeah. Okay, lucky last then.
Yay.
What is it? It is Shimmercore.
Shimmercore. I was really excited about Shimmercore. So if I'll share my screen. So Shimmercore for me, like, I also had like a really strong idea for when I first started it, just because Michelle, my partner, she describes her own like sort of fashion sense as being shimmer wave. So,
that's so cute.
It's sort of like a joke. So I instantly just sort of thought, my first thoughts were with what she would sort of wear in her gaudier moments. But yeah, I ended up like really liking this one, so I will turn it on, and here we go. Shimmercore rather. Can you see?
Not yet. You've shared Clip Studio Paint, the interface.
Oh no, I must have clicked the wrong one. Oops, let me just.
Don't worry, I looked away as soon as I saw the thumbnail.
Stop share. And I'll just reshare. Exciting technical difficulties. All right, can you see now?
Yes.
Right. All right. And Shimmercore.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so like
this is what people say yes for, but I don't think I should say that.
Go for it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. So she looks like out of She-Ra or something. Like,
yeah. I really like, so I was just like, so I started thinking like shimmercore, and then I was thinking like, my first thoughts were, so Michelle has these like pair of like American Apparel like disco pants, which
Yeah.
look pretty much exactly like the pants she's wearing, except they're not bell bottoms. And then I was like, and then I started like gathering more of these kind of like influence and stuff, where it's like, oh, like what's shimmer, and I started thinking about like playing with light, and then that led me down this road where it was like very like 70s disco, and then I started thinking of ABBA in particular, and so in the end I came up with this very 70s pop, like glittery, gaudy kind of thing, and then that led me, and then I was like, oh, and then I ended up drawing for her shoes. She's like wearing Valentino rock studs, which I think are very like it's like very gaudy shoe, but like more on like this kind of like aesthetic that I like. Plus, it meant I could put some glitter on them, like some like shine. But then I really liked how the shoes looked, and I felt like when they were covered by the bell bottoms, which are originally opaque, like the rest of the pant.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see the shoes. Then I started thinking like, oh, well, what if we kind of like it could graduate down to like a kind of like there's like a kind of a second material like that's transparent to see the rest of the leg, and then that also came. I think she was originally wearing kind of like a cape.
But they're just like arm sleeves.
Just arm sleeves, yeah.
Oh,
and
love
then they're
it.
transparent. And then like she's got kind of like almost like a Egyptian-y kind of like collar on, and then like because I was already in that kind of 70s 80s like glam mindset, I wanted to give her like big kind of like curly poofy hair, and yeah, that's I think the only thing I would like go back and like is I think I'd really want to like, so I think like her pants kind of like turn into capris, which need a bit more. What I really would have liked is to like sort of slowly like work the rendering more from where it goes from opaque to transparent, so it's like more of like a gradient. But besides that, yeah, like I was really happy. Originally I wanted to get like kind of like I wanted to make the pants like a black like vinyl, and really because I've seen like a lot of really cool studies people do where they're like it's like mostly black, but then it's got that big like the way the light, like this big harsh like white like jagged lines through it that make it look really reflective. I really wanted to try doing something like that, but on the end when I tried doing the black, it was very it didn't suit the very like pastel bright color, so yeah, it just ended up going like that, and
and then even her lips are so like shiny and glossy.
Yeah, I really went crazy with that.
Really beautiful. Like this one's so like clean and polished. I'm not saying your other ones aren't, but this one, wow,
definitely
really
one of
works.
my hacks. One of the ones I really like. I think I created like the pose reference I used was like I think it was a K-pop model. Like
I love the pose. It's so energetic.
Yeah, and actually like I pretty much the pose came together super quickly, and so this one I finished more or less in like 2-3 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Just like trying to do it, and then the rest of it was just focused on getting all the sparkle. I think I actually had a completely separate sketch done. I'm not going to show you the sketch itself, which I really like. I actually really liked how the sketch looked. If I just turn off Woodland Dad, because I think she was hanging out over there. Yeah, so that's the sketch I did originally.
Oh, she looks like straight out of Dragon Quest in the sketch. It's really,
yeah, and then like
I don't know how can like the same concept look so different. And
yeah, I there's some parts I really like, but originally she was going to be like standing on like kind of like water or something, and she still sort of is, but it's just like so bright you can't really like see it that well. But yeah, I really like the.
Oh, this one's so good, Steve.
Yeah, I really like. Maybe like my second favorite piece after Sewer Witch, but definitely it's like it's inherited all the lessons I learned from the previous drawings. But yeah, so
I just said like you have a very you have a great way of conveying a lot of information like in just simple lines, and I think that's so effective, especially in this piece. Yeah, even just conveying like what's transparent, what's opaque. Like, I wish those pants existed, not for me to wear, but like someone in the world would want those pants, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure like if you had a pair of disco pants and you just have to like cut it off at some point and replace it like probably just, it wouldn't be like, wouldn't have a gradient, but it would be like, you could have like, because like you see a lot of fashion these days where it's like almost like plastic, like
Yeah,
I'm sure there's something very similar could easily exist. But yeah, so that's my last one, and I will stop sharing so you can show me your Shumacore, which I'm excited about.
All right, lucky last. I think my one. I think. Oh, what just happened?
Is your Clip Studio dying as well?
No, it's not dying. It's just I just clicked the wrong thing. I think my one's really evident in the font choice that I did. Like you'll see the connection.
There better be some like chromatic aberration in this one.
Oh, maybe I should have done that.
No,
but I definitely could like post. What is it? 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so when you were talking about those vinyl
sequin.
pants, I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I went for. But instead of like you can get holographic black pants, and then when the light shines on them, they go rainbow instead.
Yeah, definitely holographic. Like I see a lot of holographic stuff online. It looks so cool, but I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah. What is it? So this one I was really stuck on, because I was so intent on. Well, I had to think about like my influences, like what do I want it to base it off, and because I really wanted something from nature. I'm like, oh, butterfly, no, that's too like typical. For some reason, I like landed on mantis shrimp because, but they don't really shimmer. They're just really nice and colorful.
Well, I mean, supposedly they can see like what is it, ultraviolet light or something? They've got the best.
Yeah, and they have like funky eyes as well.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, I have to make it work.
If
you
Terraformers is to be
yes,
they've got the best eyesight. And a deadly punch.
Yes. So I really wanted to make that happen, but I'll show you my really embarrassing sketch. Oh, it's so bad. Like I just really wanted to make it work, but I couldn't. Oh, not that one. Oh, where is it? Oh no, no, it's so bad. Oh, I'll have to show you later. It's insanely bad, but because it looks so bad, I'm just like, no, I can't make this like an OC / like, like cosplay kind of character. I got to make it fashion. So I started like collecting images of like pictures of clothing that I thought someone would wear for this fashion. And the reason I went with this kind of like K-pop kind of bad boy is because when I read Shumacore, I read core as like hardcore. So that's why I went that kind of route, as opposed to like core being like just a add-on word for
like a suffix,
all styles.
just like because they couldn't think of a second.
So that's why I was really I really wanted to go for something masculine, but also a bit like bad, you know,
like kind of very like peacocky. Like, I really like the way you've done the sequins, like of the.
Oh, it was a nightmare.
I can only imagine like doing all those
I think like when I was looking at the reference pictures, in each sequin, like there was a gradient. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that. So I was just going by impression, but it took like probably the length of time that it took to draw the Woodland Dad one just in the jacket, because I couldn't figure it out.
Well, it really works. Like in the end, like it really works. Like even like just like the simple, like, just like I'm guessing it was just like a sort of a transparent. You just lowered the opacity of the brush and sort of just gone over with colors. It really works. Like
but just choosing the colors was really hard.
Definitely. Well, I think Clip Studio Paint has like what is it, like dual colors or something, where you can every second it like randomly chooses colors and stuff. That might.
Oh, maybe I should have done that, but I had to wrap my head around it.
I was actually thinking of sequins as well at one point. For like I thought I was going to do her top as like a sequin top, and I actually started looking at like the Clip Studio Assets page, trying to find like a sequin brush that I thought would do, but I don't know. I feel like downloading brushes, like particularly for things like like laces, I always like in my head it's cheating to me, like, but even though it's like you shouldn't really think about it like that, but
I think it's in terms of like if you're just mocking up something,
yeah,
and you just can't invest that time, sure, just use those brushes. But if you're making like an artwork, maybe you should render it yourself. But that's just an opinion. Yeah. But yeah, what else was there? Oh, the mantis shrimp is still there as a tattoo on his chest. So yeah. And those shoes unfortunately do exist. Well, nearly like it's an amalgamation of two different shoes. One that has this like weird holographic color scheme, but like the angel wing shoe does exist. I just don't know the name, unfortunately. But yeah, CCAS had the idea of him sitting on a broken disco ball, but I just didn't know how to render that very well, so it's just a full disco ball.
Definitely, like, he's definitely like K-pop bad boy. Like maybe broke away from his group and he's going on a single, like gone solo.
Oh, maybe.
He's about to start his like rapping section of
break out into a rap.
I was interested. Did you name any of your characters, or like do you like I often think of stories as I'm drawing, so like I don't know if you give them that kind of life, or
I think of story, but I have a thing where I just can't name like characters at all. That's why I don't have any OCs, or like if I had an OC, they wouldn't have a name. It's like very generic, like spooky girl, because I don't know, I can't decide.
I like that. I like that, where it's sort of like, you know, it doesn't have to have a name necessarily, like, but some like, just for my Shimiko, for some reason I started like referring to her as like Titania, because I had a feeling that she's like very fairy-like, so like I just started calling her that. It was like,
it super matches.
I really like this one. Like definitely, like I love like the blue and purple, and get some greens in there, and then like the rainbow like shoes and the shrimp and the glasses in particular. Like,
yes, those glasses exist, and those glasses I think are the only thing that really relates back to the mantis shrimp as well. That kind of, you know, beautiful vision.
His like his little collar thing, is that just a piece of like plastic, or?
I was trying to get that the clear kind of vinyl, but apparently you can get ones with like holographic finish as well. So everything holographic.
Wow.
Anyway, we'll go back to the prompts. So that's all our pieces.
Wow, that was a really good challenge that we did. Do you think how long did we spend on that? Like, was it last month or
too long? And especially longer after you started doing backgrounds.
At the beginning of the month. I remember at the beginning of the month, I was like, can I do it at the end of the month? And you were like, no, we've got to do it we need to do it by the 20th. Like we need to give ourselves like a hard date, like, so we really do it. And then like, life just got away from me, and I was like, please, can I extend? And I think at that point you're like, damn it, backgrounds.
Yes. I think the backgrounds just took just as long or even longer than the actual drawing. But you know what? It made me practice things that I normally wouldn't have the patience to do.
That's why I always really like random prompts, or like in particular, like I often like drawing like D&D, like other people's D&D characters, because I often draw things I don't normally default to drawing.
I just had a question for you. Well, like, did you which one did you like enjoy drawing the most? Like, what new experiences did you get out of doing this challenge?
So like as I said before, I feel like I really got out of like some, like I really started like learning a lot about like how to use like layer modes to like use color. Like in the past, like I've always chosen like color palettes at random, and sort of then gone in and made heavy use of the sort of the color balance functions, the hue sliders,
to make it work in the retrospect.
Whereas like I feel like color choosing is like something that I've always had like a bit of trouble doing, but this one, like where like I find that it's like some lessons would be like, it's really good to decide things before. So I was actually writing down some lessons I got from this entire experience, which was that it's really good to have a brief, like we have here, like a prompt, or even if I'm just drawing something, it's really good to take like a second to like sketch out a piece like wholly, like as a composition, and then write down, like I started like writing down little like just notes to myself, like, you know, like I want to have sequence here, or I want to like you know, like I want this to be I want this to, you know, gradiate to transparent, or just little things so like I remember them when I'm drawing, because I often get like lost. Take a step back and be able to think about things. I think lately in my last 12 months of drawing, I've been like using references a lot more. I was always really shy about using references previously, like for a long time. I guess like I sort of had this misplaced pride that I would never use references, or if I did, they'd be like very just sort of sitting there, a quick look and then nothing. Whereas now I like, you know, I actually have a lot more fun drawing when I have a pose, and like I can really like work off that pose and then change it how I like after the sketch. But like, and then I just don't feel so bad about it anymore, because now I don't get so frustrated with anatomy anymore, because it's like I can rely more on like the posing, and just knowing that like it's something that pretty much every artist does, is like they rely on like references quite a bit. Some other things were, I learned like don't draw on white for me. Like I've always drawn on white, and I think that's where a lot of my issues with color comes from. That's why I think I'm always going towards those like paler pastel colors, because that looks better on white. So now what I do instead is I actually choose like in the little squares I had, or rectangles, I pick like a color that's going to be sort of like the main kind of mood of the drawing, and then draw on that. And when I start putting in I'll draw and sketch on like white or like a light gray, and then when it comes time to color, knowing what's the background is generally going to be makes it a lot easier to just makes it so much easier to pick colors that'll look good together. Because, you know, if you start changing, if you do like the entire, how I used to do it is I do all the colors, and so I have this character that's fully like has all their base colors down, and then I go to put like, you know, like, oh, this drawing looks a little bit flat, like let's put something behind them. Then it's sort of like finding something that works against a flat white isn't always going to come out very nicely. Whereas these ones I feel like look and mesh a lot better, because I like knew from the beginning I was going to put down, and the feminine farmer one I did, like I basically started drawing that, coloring it on a sky blue background, knowing that it would be like a very overblown outdoor scene, and then that really helped.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Yeah, and just not and then also just trying to avoid, like, I think from the lava one, which from what I've like shown other people, like it's the lava one in particular, even though it's, for me, it's like neither here nor there in terms of how much I like it, it seems to have gotten like really good reaction from others. So like I think that contrast is something that I need to like lean a little bit more into, I think.
In that, like getting more like opinions like while you're drawing, or
more like just using contrast in my coloring, because like I often like I shy away from like just using like a harsher, like a black or really dark colors against a really light color, and then even if I do that, I will often then end up going into like the color options and like end up pushing them closer together, like further away from the stark whites, further away from the blacks.
Because it's less daunting that way. Yeah,
well, it's like I think like that's just something like it'd be good to like do a lot of like drawings that are like focused very heavily on that like very black, like very like more stark drawings, I think. What about you, Yum?
For like lessons, I guess like the reason why like I suggested doing these challenges was I needed to break out of not just drawing different subjects, but like my practice. my practice is very labored, very anxiety inducing, very like too particular at points in time, and I just needed to break out of that. And yeah, I just thought this was a good way to. It was much more strenuous than strenuous as in like I really like I think I got a lot more out of it than I intended to. Like instead of just a break, it was pushing me, but like in different directions, but in really interesting directions that I wouldn't normally take. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'm just really glad, even just with like learning about new functions in Clip Studio, I think that's super valuable for me, and finding out more time efficient ways to relay an idea as well. Yeah.
So now that we've got all that out of the way, I think what would you say your favorite piece is out of
yours?
We could do ours, but like what's your favorite piece of yours, and then I'll do mine, and then maybe we can go through what our favorite piece is for each.
Mine,
which one do you think you love the most?
Probably the one of my dad.
The one of your dad.
I'm just like, that was my, that I really felt in the flow for drawing this one as well. But also it's a picture of my dad. So it's one really funny thing is like, my dad always tells me, oh, Yumi, we're gonna, my friend asked me to go like mushroom hunting and I really want to go, but he's never been. So like, I feel like this is at least an opportunity for him to go mushroom hunting. Hence in the picture, he's found like some poisonous mushrooms. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's my favorite. And I'm just really like relieved that it came out nicely. And that I experimented the most in this picture. So I think I'm the most happy with this one, but also I really enjoyed building the backstory for Acid Priest as well.
Priest
yeah,
is really good. Can we maybe go through each one, just like really quickly show each one again? I think I know which one's my favorite, but
there's that one.
Acid Priest,
Sewer Witch, Circus Theatre. Yep. My dad.
Yeah.
Feminine Farmer, and Shimmercore. So which one's your favorite?
I think it's a really tough choice for me, but I think it's really down between Shimmercore is really good. I really like Shimmercore. Like as like just like the whole piece like comes together so nicely. But I honestly I think my favorite is Feminine Farmer.
Oh no way!
But that's just my like. That's my like pastel, like rural loving, like, and I can't, like, that background's so good, and like it really helps the piece so much. And I love the gingham dress, like the bonnet looks so good, like as a whole piece, like it looks great. Like,
thank you. That's really unexpected.
Yeah,
I thought you'd like Acid Priest the most.
I do like Acid Priest a lot, like especially like from a like kind of like a design storytelling sort of point of view. I really liked Acid Priest, but yeah, I mean they're all so good, but like I don't know, I'm really
this one's just the most appealing.
Yeah, visually I really like it's checking all the Steve boxes basically. I'll share my screen and and we'll go quickly. I'll quickly show you all right, so these are all mine again. So got Lava Priest, Sewer Witch, Circus Deity. I think
hard choice.
In my favorite, I think is still Sewer Witch. It's between Sewer Witch and Shimmercore for me. Shimmercore has benefited from like every piece before it, and so I think it's the cleanest, like most solid like piece. Like they're all good in their own way, but I really like Shimmercore because it was like right at the end when I was like the most honed, I guess, and not drawn in a while before this. But I really like the way, I really like the Sewer Witch's colors all come together. The background's like simple but nice. I really like her design. Like she's like, she's really cute. Like I just really liked how this one came out, I think. What do you think?
Oh man, it's so hard because I love the feeling and the line work of Feminine Farmer so much. Like that's really loose but still precise. Shimmercore is so beautiful as well. I don't know, I'm just gonna I don't know. I really like. Oh, Steve, it's really difficult, but I think I will have to agree with Sewer Witch as well, just because like I can see her as a character in a game or an anime or something, but she just has a lot of personality. And I love the detail of the manhole opening device as well. That's just so clever to me. But yeah, she's great. I can definitely see, like, you can definitely see her with a whole cast of characters as well. I don't know who they are, but she will fit with like a cast.
I think I agree. Like I could feel like her doing like maybe doing like a 3D turnaround or something, and like as in like a character design sheet. And I feel like she like could fit like a style, an aesthetic that could fit a whole cast alongside her, you know what I mean, like in an anime or something.
Yeah, but that isn't to say I don't like Lava Priest as well. He's like, I really like him because it's so different from your regular style. The shapes are so strong. I just love religious iconography a lot, but I think that hat shape is so clever as well because it's the shape of the volcano, like it's and the flowing of the lava down his head is really clever. So actually no, so Sewer Witch number 1, Lava Priest number 2 actually. Very nice. Funny, huh?
That's so good. That was actually that was a really fun, I'll stop sharing. That was a really fun like art challenge. I think now we have to like figure out what our next art challenge is going to be.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like what you said about drawing OCs like a lot, but I'll have to find my original pictures. They're so incredibly bad.
So like so for reference, we were discussing. So I don't know, when did you start drawing, Yumi? Like when did you say you start drawing in earnest? Like when did you decide you were going to be a manga author, so to speak? Like I don't know if you had the same experience like I did, but
probably when I was 12 or so. Yes. So I probably but OCs and stuff only started happening at 15, I think. Yeah. So like I feel like so my background is like when I was very young, maybe like 10, I got into Sprite comics, which if you don't know what those are, congratulations. You really don't. Congratulations, you're a Zoomer.
Yeah, congratulations, you've escaped Sprite comics. But I was doing those, but those are I'm actually a big fan of pixel art. If we ever wanted to do a pixel art challenge or something, I'd be down for that because
sure. I'm hopeless at it actually.
I feel like pixel art's like amazing because it's like really like pushes your design and like, because you're just choosing very, very specific like blocks of color and trying to create more of the impression of something rather than actually like drawing it.
Or rendering it.
So I feel like I would really like to do some more like pixel art stuff, and I think I might, like, regardless. But yeah, so I started on pixel art, which was mostly just like taking sprites from Mega Man and slightly recoloring them and adding like Super Saiyan hair or whatever. And then eventually I was like, no, I really, this grand narrative I was telling on Drunk Dog, I was like, no, I really want to draw. So at 12, I started drawing, and I big A4 printer paper, and just like draw. And I've never drawn with more fervor since I was 12. But I actually kept, my mum and I would put them in these sleeves, and I just kept all of my old drawings. And I've recently, like when I last went to Tasmania, I took them and I brought them back with me to Melbourne. And I was looking through them the other day and was just going like, actually, like, yeah, they're a little bit cringe. They're like very obviously very like influenced by like Naruto and Bleach.
Oh,
and stuff.
really? Really?
Yeah, when I show you, you'll see it immediately.
Maybe we should do this. Like I have too much like embarrassment in trying to go find my drawings. I know the characters like off by heart, like in my head, but like I don't want to look back at those drawings.
I think it'd be really fun to go through the old drawings, and I think it'd be really fun too, like to be like, oh, it's like just like because like you're just like I guess a little less restrained when you're a kid. So like I'd love to like look at some of the old characters I had that and my OCs, so to speak, and just sort of give them a little zhuzh, like redraw them like and see what they would look like in 2021.
Yeah, I think I'm up for that part, redesigning them, but I just don't want to look at them. But yeah, maybe we should do that.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for. I don't even know if anyone's going to watch this video.
Oh, it's
but
okay.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, this is fun.